Okay. All right, so welcome everybody. Thank you so much for your patience. Let me go ahead and share my screen so you guys can see it. So welcome. This is our first hybrid Kern County Breastfeeding Coalition meeting. I am so happy to have those that came in person and those joining us virtually. If we and those that aren't able to join us, hopefully, they'll see this recording. I want to go ahead and start off with the reflection that I have down here at the bottom. It says an acorn is a small and unassuming seed that holds within it the potential for great growth and prosperity. I came across this this quote and I thought, wow. In our work as case managers, we work with a lot of clients and community partners, and just in vast different professions. I think we've all had somebody that we've seen grow up, or ourselves, we see this small unassuming seed, in other words, and we nurture it and we watch it grow, either within weeks, within days, or within years. So I just wanted to put that in your guys' brain as a reflection of, the work that you're doing it matters, and maybe you're not seeing it now, but years to come, there is something happening there. And we're going to go ahead and move on to agenda. Today we're going to have TiYonna Mitchell from the Kern County Child Support Services present about her program and ways that we can connect as community partners. Also, we'll have a community breastfeeding celebration with photos. And then at the end, we'll have a roundtable so everybody can go around and say their announcements, events, etc. So we're going to go ahead and start off with introductions. I'll go ahead and start off and then we'll popcorn. We'll start off with the people here in person and then move virtually. So my name is Jasmine. I am the WIC Regional Breastfeeding Liaison, or RBL for short. I represent both of the WIC agencies here in Kern, and I also am the co-chair for the Kern County Breastfeeding Coalition. And if I were a fall drink, I would be champurrado, or Mexican hot chocolate. And I'm going to go ahead and popcorn it over to Janet Barrett. And if she can please join me up here, because the mics are up here. Yeah.
Hi, Janet Barrett. I'm with Kern Medical. If I was a fall beverage, I'm probably the only person in the world who does not like pumpkin spice latte anything. So I'm going to go with regular coffee because it's the only thing I like. I'm going to pass it over to TiYonna.
Oh, do I have to stand up? Okay.
I guess they can probably hear you because
Okay. So hi everybody. My name is TiYonna. I'm with Kern County Child Support. If I were a fall beverage, I think I'm just gonna keep it original. I would be a pumpkin spice chai latte. That's my favorite.
Oh, thank you, TiYonna.
Hi everyone, my name is Deanna Lara. I'm with Lincoln Services AFLP program. And if I had to be a fall beverage, I would definitely be a hot toddy.
Ooh,
yes.
Toddy.
And we all know.
Hi, so my name is Alondra Cortez. I'm with Lincoln Services Adolescent Family Life program. And if I were to be a fall beverage, I would be a cinnamon dulce latte.
Ooh, cinnamon dulce latte, right on. So thank you so much for sharing. We're gonna go ahead and popcorn it over to, we'll start with Vanya.
Yes, hi, good afternoon. My name is Banya. I'm one of the health education specialists with Kern Family Healthcare, and I would be a caramel latte, maybe with an extra shot, depending on the day.
I love it. And Vanya, if you could popcorn it over to the next person, if you.
Yes, to Julie.
Julie Garcia, are you here with us? It looks like you're not muted, but we can't hear you.
I don't think, make sure that.
Or is it? And that's all right. We'll come right back to you. Next person, we'll go with Lori Ochoa.
Hi, I'm Lori Ochoa with Lori's Lactation Station here in Ridgecrest. And if I were a fall beverage, I'm gonna go with just a nice decaffeinated herbal tea, hot tea.
Right on, Lori. Thank you so much. Could you partner it over to somebody?
Sure. Let me see who I can go to. How about Amberly Hill?
Hello, my name is Amberly. I'm with Help Me Grow Kern. And if I were a fall beverage, I would be pumpkin everything.
Pumpkin everything. Nice, I love it. And if you could popcorn it over to somebody.
Let's go with Adela Gomez.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. I'm with Antelope Valley Medical Center, WIC. I am the Regional Breastfeeding Liaison covering the upper northern LA County, connected to Kern County. And if I was a fall beverage, I would definitely go with a champurrado. And I will popcorn Abigail.
Hi, I'm Abby Garcia. I work at Kaiser Permanente. I'm the IBCLC there. And if I was a beverage, it would be a white chocolate mocha because I do like my chocolate, but I like my coffee too.
Nice, thank you so much.
And then Amberly.
Oh, and that's okay. Amberly went, but we'll go ahead and move on to Tanya. Tanya Bradford.
I'm here, but I was just now typing. I gotta leave. But yeah, I like apple cider. I like the hot apple ciders. So that would be my drink. But ladies, I gotta go.
Oh, well, thank you so much, Tanya, for joining us, even if it was short.
I know. I can look at the recording afterwards, right?
Yes, yes.
Okay, thank you. Sorry, ladies. I'll see you
Oh, no
guys soon.
worries.
All right, bye.
And I see Jamal. I'm sorry if I'm mispronouncing that. Your name. Is it Jamal?
Jamala.
Jamala, thank you.
I think they might be typing.
Something's coming up in the chat.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and check the chat. Thank you for letting me know.
Oh, there we go. Julie Garcia.
Okay, Julie says about that, I'm remoting in my office and I don't think you'll be able to hear me. So Julie Garcia is from Kern County, new supervisor for Nurse Family Partnership Program. Her fall beverage would be hot apple cider with cinnamon sticks. Well, thank you so much, Julie, for joining us. And let me. Okay, that looks like everybody. Oh, I don't see any more comments in the. Oh, I see. Jamala, right? Jamala says she would be a green tea and lemon. Thank you so much, Jamala. Alrighty then. So we'll go ahead and move on to the next action item on our agenda, and I'm happy to introduce Tanya. Oh my gosh, why am I messing up? TiYonna.
Yeah.
Sorry. And she is the program specialist at Kern County Child Support Services. And she also brought these lovely snacks and beverages here. So please, everybody, you're welcome to grab some and the other items on the table. So without further ado, it's yours.
All right.
You can just go ahead.
Okay. I'm gonna stand up that a little bit. Just really. So good afternoon, everybody. I know you guys have busy schedules, so I'll try to get through this and make it as not as boring as possible. It is child support. It does have a stigma behind it, but hopefully today we can change that stigma that people have about our services. Also, I gotta make sure I get, of course, guys. Also, I am one of the parentage opportunity coordinators for Kern County, so I'm a part of the POP program, Establishing Legal Parentage for Children. So our agenda today is we're gonna go over our mission statement, the locations that we have, the services that we provide, the impact that we have on families, some of our special programs, and how we stay connected. So our mission is to deliver outstanding child support services to families so that way their children have the financial and medical support that they need for their overall well-being. We have 3 locations. So our first location is the Bakersfield location. Which serves all of Kern County. We can even service outside of our county. So if someone comes in and they say they have a question about their case, but let's say it's in Texas, we can go ahead and try to get that for them. We also have Ridgecrest, which serves like the Mojave area. And then we have our Delano office, which services Delano, Wasco, McFarland, Lost Hills. So all 3 of the offices though, they can service any area. But those 2 offices hone in on those areas just because they're outlying and it's easier for those in the outlying areas to get to those locations. Another great thing that we utilize to help connect to our customers is our kiosk. So we have a couple of different kiosks. We have one in the court office. We have one in the Family Justice Center. We have one at the Bell Terrace Employer Shredded Resource Center. And then we have one coming to the probation office on Truxton. So the kiosks are great because it allows them to talk to their caseworker, make appointments, upload documents. I said make payments, right? They can make payments on there, which is like a big thing because a lot of times people feel like they have to come to our office, but those locations are fully active. It's just as if you were to come into the Delano, Bakersfield, or Ridgecrest office, but you're just on a screen with your worker. So what is child support? So child support is a combined effort of one parent making a payment to another parent for their child's overall well-being. So that's the financial and medical support that we enforce. All right. So some services that we provide is we open child support cases, we locate the other parent for the opening of the child support case, we establish legal parentage, and we also enforce the support orders. We manage support orders and spousal support orders. So what I will say is if there is an existing case that has an existing spousal support order attached to it, then we go ahead and enforce that. But if you open up a spousal support order and you try to come to our office, we cannot enforce that. It has to be something that's already attached to a child support order. So like I said before, we can't help out with divorce, custody or visitation, restraining orders, or establishment of spousal support orders. We do recommend that our customers visit like the family law facilitator, the family court office, or GBLA. But oftentimes if there is a parent in our office and they're talking with their specialist and they say, hey, would you mind asking the other parent if I can have them for Christmas or if I can have them for New Year's Eve? Then what we'll do is we'll facilitate that conversation. And if the parent says yes, then we'll go ahead and let them know like, hey, they said you can go ahead and have them for Christmas. And we'll just jot that in our notes. So that way we can note that we had that communication with them and it doesn't break any agreements that they currently have. All right, so establishment of a child support order. So opening a case is the first process. So the first thing they can do is go to our website or they can use a paper application. If they do it online, it's really simple. It takes about 5 to 15 minutes. And what that does is it goes straight into someone's caseload and they're able to contact them immediately based on the information that they provide. We do encourage them to provide a little bit more information than just like filling out that first page of like names. Just because it helps us locate the other parent a little bit better. We also do service requests for DHS. So if someone opens a CalWorks case, then we get a referral to make contact so that way we can try to establish an order. Are you all online able to see the presentation? Okay, cool. Someone is,
Yeah, go ahead and admit. Okay. All right, so
continue on with establishing is legal parentage. Now, we could do this a couple different ways. We could do it through genetic testing, which is through a court order. So essentially, when you start the application process and you say there is parentage at issue, I'm not quite sure, we could go ahead and establish genetic testing. Voluntary declaration of parentage, that's the POP program I was talking about. So that is that document that they receive after birth to fill out who the parent of the child is. It's for same-sex couples and unmarried parents. So if they're married, they're not able to fill that document out. And this is one of the two ways that they can establish parentage outside of a court order. Then we have, and this is considered parentage acknowledged. So this would be you acknowledging that you are the father and the mother of the child, and moving forward, that child will have access to any and all benefits that you have access to. So think of military, Social Security, things of that nature. We also have the marital presumption, which follows a 300-day rule. So the 300-day rule is if a child is born or conceived 300 days prior or 300 days after the marriage has ended. So for example, let's say Jessica is married to Joe and she gets pregnant, but Jessica might have also been with Dave. Joe will still be considered the legal parent of that child because they are married. And so if she were to open a child support case, we would pursue Joe because she was married to him. And so that's kind of how that 300-day rule works, because a lot of times we'll have couples come in, married couples, and they'll say, well, I know that person stepped outside the marriage. This is so that you know, due to time, due to years, due to the fact that you guys are legally binded, the child is yours.
A question.
Yes.
Is Joe able to ask for genetic testing or like request it?
Yes, absolutely. Joe can still file for genetic testing. He can still petition the court for parentage if he thinks that that child is his, absolutely. And then that leads us into parentage adjudicated, which is the court establishing who the legal parent of the child is. So in cases like that, where Joe and Dave are, potential fathers, the court can decide, yes, you are married, but how much time have you spent with the child? Things of that nature. So it's looking at the facts and the time period that the child has spent and who the child knows as the father. So if the child has spent more time with Joe and then they file for divorce and she files for child support, and then Dave jumps in and says that he wants to petition for parentage, most likely the judge would go ahead and say Joe is the legal parent because one, that's who the child sees as the parent of the child.
So,
Yes.
pretty much Joe can't do anything about it if it's not his child, like let's say.
He can, he can and he can't. So, he can pay he'll have to pay the order, or he can choose not to pay the order. But most likely he will pay the order because it can, again, affect other parts of his life. But when you're married to somebody and you have kids with them under the law, those are your children, regardless of if that person steps in or steps out of the marriage.
Thank you for
The only-
clarifying that.
Yeah, the only thing that can be done is if, let's say Dave does file that petition and he shows that he wants to be active in the child's life, then after the genetic testing is done, it would move on to parentage adjudicated, which means they would appear before the court and then the judge would decide at that point. So the judge could decide, Dave, hey, here you go. You want to be the father, you petition, then the order could go for Dave instead of Joe. But again, it's just all depends on like the length of time, who the child acknowledges as their parent. The next process is to locate. So before we can take any legal action, we have to know the other parent's name and their address. So that way we can go ahead and send off any documents. Also, so that our child support specialist can conduct an interview with them, just to gather information about who they are, their assets, what their financial status is like, so that way they can compile that order for them. All right, and so calculating the child support order, these are some of the things that go into creating the order. Both parents' income, visitation, daycare costs, health insurance costs, union dues, additional support orders that they may have, other children that they have living in the household. And then also, in addition to these main items, they do take into other considerations like what is your mortgage, how much are you spending on gas, depending on the job that they have. So it does take in consideration all your expenses, and it's important for both customers to upload their documents into their case, so that way they can take everything into consideration when it's calculated. And also when the judge does the final review in court, she goes over all the documents that are submitted, and she does another calculation on her own outside of what is presented by our legal team. And this is the guideline calculator that is used. This is also the same thing that is available on our website. Anybody can go in and do an estimate of what their case would look like. This is not 100% accurate. This just gives you an estimate of what the case looks like. So you would put in both parents' income, both parents' expenses. It's similar to like filling out a tax document. And then once you submit it, it gives you a number at the end. It only takes, depending on if you have all the documents in front of you, it takes about 10-15 minutes. You fill it out, you get the number, it gives you an estimate of what you're working with. A lot of times the number is lower than what we would propose. Sometimes it's a little bit higher than what we propose. It just all depends on the other outside information that we gather and we give to our legal team. So the legal process is pretty simple. Once we've interviewed both of the parents and we've gathered information, we've gone over the process with them, we compile the summons and complaint, which is a proposed judgment of what they will pay if it's a monetary order. And if not, if it's just a medical support order, then we just let them know, hey, this case is being opened up and we are proposing that you provide the medical support or the financial support for the child. And this is served by our investigative aides that we have in-house. We also use a third party that will go out and serve depending on the zip code. We can also serve customers on the phone. So for child support specialists is speaking to them and they say, hey, I have this summons and complaint in front of me. I can email it to you if you like. Just go ahead and acknowledge for me that you would like this emailed to you. Then we can email that document to them. It provides a little bit more of a comfort to them to know that they're not being served in the public. And then it also, at that time that they're being served, they can go over the document with them. We do encourage them to come to all of their appointments, all of the court dates. They have access to our legal team because our legal team doesn't represent either party. So they do try to give them some information on what are the next steps that they need to take. The next step would be for them to either stipulate or come to a judgment in front of the courts. So the stipulation is essentially when both parents come together with our legal team and they say, hey, whatever is on the proposed judgment, I'm okay with, and they both sign off on it, it goes to the court, it's in place. The judgment aspect of it is when they go to the court, they present the information, the judge will either go ahead and move forward with what we've calculated and proposed, or she'll move forward with a different order. So it's up to her, the final say. And it's Judge Lou, by the way, she's our commissioner for it. Another step that we typically go into, which we try not to, we try to make connection with them before this happens, but on the proposed judgment, it gives them 30 days to respond. So if they don't respond within the 30 days, we do a re-review of the judgment that we have on file, and then it goes into default. So default means they didn't show up for court, they didn't respond to the order, the proposed judgment, and so now it's in place, and regardless of whether they respond to us or not, they have to pay it. It's already done, sealed, and it's kind of one of the worst ways for a child support order to be established because it doesn't allow us to build a connection or communication with them, and we try to build that. Because once we build communication and connection with them, then it's easy for us to help build it with the other parent, and they can create a positive co-parenting experience. And that is our goal, because if they have a positive co-parenting experience, then they want to pay on time, they want to be more involved with the child. And so it makes visitation and custody and all of that a lot smoother. All right, so managing the court order, one of the first things that goes into place, whether they have started payments or not, is a property lien. The property lien goes into place just in case any property is sold, or if there's any property pending, or if there is potential for them to buy a property, then we have notification. And so if they were to, let's say, default on payment and they were to sell their house, we would be able to intercept part of it so that way it could go towards the order and catch up on those payments. But it goes into place regardless. It doesn't have a negative effect on the case at all when we first open it or during the process, only if someone doesn't pay on their child support orders. We also create accounts to track and distribute payments. We make sure that the customers have their account number so that way they can also look and see when payments are pending. It's important for people when they're paying payments to see the process, like, okay, we have it, it's been processed, it's been submitted, and they've been paid. We also do income withholding orders. Income withholding orders are simply just our way of connecting with their employer so that way they can do automatic payments. The automatic payments help them to stay on track. They don't have to worry about, okay, if there's a holiday, my payment is gonna be late because of this date and all of that. It just comes straight out of the check and it goes into their account. So engagement is one of our key goals moving forward with child support. And it's more than just about our child support orders. It's also about how we engage with the community and with our customers and make them feel comfortable. So the next part of it is maintaining the order. So these are some of the actions that go into place if someone does not place or pay at all. And typically these actions don't start till like 6 months after there's no payment. So license suspension, that happens like 6 months of no payments. And throughout the time that we're not receiving payments, we do send letters, we do send we do calls. The DMV will also reach out and send out a notice letting them know. Also, if they have like a board license, so if they're a nurse, they're a doctor, they're a nail technician, etc., they will receive a notice letting them know like, hey, your license is about to be suspended. You need to take care of this action. We do passport denial, and that is simply if they have $2,500 or more owed on their order, then we can deny them being able to receive a passport. We do unemployment and disability insurance intercepts, but we also, with those, we do try to contact them multiple times before we intercede. And then we do franchise tax board and IRS refund intercepts. So that means like lottery winnings, tax refunds. We do bank levies. Bank levies is if there's $3,500 or more owed on the order and you have $3,500 or more in your account, then we can intercept the payment. And then there's other actions that we take. But that's like if it's an extreme case. Okay, so managing the child support case, we do review and adjustments, and either party can request a review and adjustment. And that just simply means that there's something going on with your life personally that is affecting your ability to pay child support, and you need your case reviewed to either increase or decrease the order. So we do warn both parties that if you request a review, the case can increase or decrease. So if someone requests a review and adjustment because they would like more child support, there's a possibility that the order could decrease far from what it was before, just based on new information that we find out. Some great reasons to request a review is if they've been unemployed for more than 90 days, the custody and visitation has changed. So if it goes from 70-30 to 50-50, then the case can be readjusted based on that. Changes in financial, medical, or other life changes. If there's someone in the military and they decide to retire or they're being deployed, we can review the order for those purposes as well. And then other legitimate changes in their circumstances. We will review the case. It still will go before the judge for that final approval. All right, so continuing communication. We have the Customer Connect online, which is also available on their phone. It's a mobile app. It allows them to make appointments, it allows them to make payments, it allows them to email their specialist so that way they can have communication of what's going on with their case. And it also allows them to check on payments and check on appointments. So if the appointment has been approved, if the appointment has been pending, if the appointment has been changed, it lets them know, it gives them alerts. All right, so one of our special programs that we have that we're really trying to push is our debt reduction program. And this provides eligible customers the possibility of having their arrears owed to the government wiped clean. So how that process works is they will reach out to a child support specialist, let them know, hey, I want to have my case reviewed for the debt reduction program. And they'll go ahead and send them an application for them to make an offer. So if they have a child support case where they have money owed to the custodial parent, it's not for that specifically. But what will happen is if they make a payment towards those arrears, a portion of that can be put towards that order to wipe out those past due debts. But essentially this is for people who, let's say they open a CalWorks case, and because we have to recoup the money that was paid out, they were instructed to pay an order, they never paid the order, or they got behind on payments, then we go ahead and try to sign them up for this program because it helps them erase the debt. We've had customers come in, 74 years old, $20,000 worth of debt. He made an offer, we were able to wipe that off. We've had people who were in their 40s, they had all these arrears and their goal was to buy a home, and this was holding them back. So they went ahead and applied for this program, and we were able to wipe those arrears away. So they just have to make an offer for us to make sure that that offer balances out what we will be wiping away clean, and then we will go ahead and update their account. And as long as they have $501 or more owed, they're eligible for the program. But if they have a current case and they're behind on arrears, then they will need to show that they can pay both. Because we don't want you to fall behind paying your current order, trying to catch up on something in the past. So the impact that we have on our families. Kern County distributed $90 million to families, and this is child support that went straight to the families. So that is through consistent payments, which is really great because it also helps to create parental responsibility and involvement. Studies show that people who pay child support consistently spend 27 more days with their children if they didn't pay at all and they were in a co-parenting situation. It improves educational outcomes because they're spending more time with their child. They're more involved in what they're doing academically. They're more involved in what they're doing in extracurricular activities, sports, things of that nature. So it also reduces child poverty. 74% of those who are on government assistance are able to exit, and 62% are less likely to re-enter governmental assistance programs by receiving the extra help, which is the financial or the medical support that we help enforce. All right, so I want to thank you all for listening to my presentation about child support services. Outside of just establishing those orders, we do try to do things within the community. So for Child Support Awareness Month, we start off the Ready Set Back to School. We start with the outlying areas at the end of July, and we work our way into August. We in-house fundraise a lot. So we have committees within our office that will come together to create fundraisers for the month or for a couple weeks, and staff will spend all of their money to try to help out. So we do Socktober, where we donate socks to the kids at Jameson. We participate with DHS with doing the holiday cottage. So we do the McKinney-Vento, where we'll fundraise and donate money to the McKinney-Vento Foundation. So we do a couple different things throughout the year where we try to fundraise and give back to the community, because kids come first is our motto. And so we really try to make sure we put that out in the community. So if you guys do have something going on with your organizations and you need that support, we're always here to help. You can email me at communitydevelopment@kern.co. You can see the rest. And I'll respond back. I'll present it to the committees and we'll try to go ahead and help you guys out with that. You can also message me there if you want a presentation, if you have any thoughts about Ready Set Back to School, anything of that nature, you can message me there and I will respond. The direct line that you see here, that is only for partners. It is not for customers. That is my program manager's number, Matisha Woods. So if you guys have questions, even if it's a personal question, you can call her on that line and she'll get back to you. If she doesn't answer, she'll get back to you. You can also email me at that email and then I'll just forward it to her. Because a lot of times when you do have questions about child support, you really don't want to call that 866 number. So if you have a customer or yourself, you have a question, feel free to call her and she'll get back to you in regards to those questions.
I have a question.
Yep.
So, let's say a client, she wants to establish visitation rates. So, but she does not want to put the father of the baby on child support. So is she able to go through with child support still to establish that, to get that started? Or how would that?
So if they want to just establish parentage and be able to establish visitation, that isn't something that we would get involved in, only because ours is, when we establish legal parentage, it is leading up to creating an order. But if she were to come to our office, we would just refer her to the family court office. We have a legal office right next to that one, right across from the district attorney's office. So a lot of times customers will come in there to try to open up a case. And so what we do is we'll call a representative that we have over there and have them schedule an appointment with them to make it a little bit quicker. So that way they can go ahead and get that information established. And then I'll try and see if I can send it to you and then you can send it out to everyone. It's like a direct line that we have.
Thank you.
I have another
Yeah.
question. How long would you say the process is from starting the application to the first payment? Are we talking like a few months, a year?
So every process has like a timestamp on it. The process that takes the longest, that does hold up sometimes, is the locate process. And that is locating and serving the summons and complaint. So in total, a case shouldn't take more than 100 days. We do try to get most things done in a lesser time frame. Sometimes it takes us 30 days, sometimes it takes us 40 days, but we try to keep it under 100 days. But the main thing is that servicing them the order. A lot of times, if they don't respond within that 30 days and we're able to get the order defaulted, which is not the best thing, but if it does go into default, then as soon as that payment goes into default, the payments start automatically for the following month. So that can take, I want to say it takes about 45 days at that point. That would be like the 45-day mark. If we continuously try to reach out to them and we haven't received anything back, then at that mark, the payments would go into place. The following month, they would be due. And we would let them know, we would call them, we would send them letters and let them know, like, this is your first date of payment. And if they start to miss those payments, we still give them a call. By the third month, if there is no payment, then that's when we go ahead and start doing intercepts.
Okay.
And then at the 6-month mark, then that's when we start going in and putting suspensions on things. But once that payment goes into place, any sort of transaction that happens property-wise, if they sell a car, buy a car, all of that freezes until they make that payment. But in total, to start to finish, it should take no more than 100 days. And that's just because it's really hard for us to get a hold of the other parent sometimes. If all we're given is like a very minimal amount of information, our specialists have to literally comb through so many different platforms in order to find the right person. And then our investigative aides have to go out and make sure that the person that they're looking at on paper matches the person that they're trying to serve.
So then that's followed up to my second question then. Would immigration status also come into play, like if they can be served or not?
So whether someone is a legal immigrant or not, they can still be served.
Okay.
And then we have different ways that we can try to track people who are not citizens, so that way we can make connection with them. We do try to make sure that they understand the process from start to finish, because it can hinder them being able to become a citizen if they have any debt owed. So we do try to make those connections, so that way they know, like, hey, you're trying to get a new job, you're trying to become a citizen, let's go ahead and pay this order. Let's figure out what is your income like. And those orders, those are probably some of the easiest orders, because someone who's trying to become a citizen, who's already started that process, they don't want anything that's gonna hold them back. Yeah.
Any more questions?
Any more questions? And we do provide direct services. So if you have somebody or you have a group of people at your office that need direct services, you need us to come out, do some applications, do some paper updating, you can send me a request to that email, and then we'll send out a team. We're actually rebuilding our direct services team because we have a mobile unit coming soon. So that way, when we have those locations set, that mobile unit will forever be able to go to all of those locations and transition with the time slots that we have set. So if you do want direct services, we're putting that in place. We had planned to send teams out to the schools this month, but we're having to push it back just because some of the schools moved. And then we have so many different changes happening. So I have a new team that's taking over. They're the direct services team that goes out to the prisons. So that team is gonna be the team that I send out to all of you, and they'll be there for at least 2 to 3 hours, just helping out with whatever you need.
Thank you, TiYonna. Thank you. I was just checking the chat right now. I saw 2 comments come in from Vanya, great presentation. And then Julie, this has been very informative. You're welcome. And let me just make sure I missed 2. Okay. Alrighty, so thank you again, TiYonna, for your wonderful presentation, and we look forward to having us, because you're going to continue joining us in our coalition meeting. So for those that this is your first time,
Desmond, there was a comment there. Do you service Tehachapi as well?
Oh, absolutely. So we service all of Kern County. So regardless of where it is, Mojave, Tehachapi, wherever, we do service. We are trying to specifically get direct services up that way because they are far from our Delano office, very far from our Ridgecrest office. So we are trying to get direct services in those areas. So if someone has a request, we can definitely go out there.
is that the mobile team that you were talking about earlier?
Yeah.
Oh, sorry. No, so thank you for answering all our questions, and again, she's gonna be sending out more information, so I'll be sending that out in the follow-up email to everybody. And our next item was, so this August, past August, the 26th of August, we had a celebration at the Beale Library here in Bakersfield. And this was some of our team that came out, coalition members, vendors, local vendors, and also a private licensed therapist that came out, and she has her own postpartum group. So more to come on that. She's hopefully going to be presenting very soon. But I like this quote, which I can't see it right now, but but teamwork really does make the dream work, and it really does take a village to support our new and expecting parents, our chest feeding, breastfeeding parents and children. As I like to bring community members and partners from different organizations to provide us, equipped us more like it with tools, so that when we come across families, we can serve them or better serve them. because as you know, breastfeeding families, chest feeding families, we don't know what's going on outside of their from if you're seeing them in person or over the phone. So it's good to know other resources to connect them with. And so at the event, we had healthy snacks, which were graciously provided by Leslie Bloomquist. She's not here joining us today. She's out of state seeing her grandbaby. And the Kern Family Healthcare systems team, they also generously donated healthy snacks and drinks. And this is Catalina Lumes. She's one of the board members at California Breastfeeding Coalition. And she also, along with her boyfriend, they helped us assemble and distribute the healthy snacks during the event. So we're really thankful for that. And just a few photos from the event. I'm sorry I didn't get that many. I felt like I was running around everywhere. So, but these photos were taken by Catalina's boyfriend, and they captured some really great moments. We did show the movie or the documentary on lactation in the United States. It's Milky Way, and we showed it right there in the auditorium. We gave out healthy snacks, as I mentioned, and then towards the end of the event, we did a raffle. So we raffled out some items. As you can see right here at the bottom picture, there's some of the vendors brought their own prizes to raffle off, like books, and there was a gift card and so many other goodies. So hopefully we'll do this on an annually at the Beale Library. Oh, and please follow us on Instagram. Your support, share our content, share it to your clients, to your participants, to your family, anybody in wanting to get involved, even join our coalition meetings. It's not just for community partners, but also for the community. And moving on to future topics. So I sent out a survey, a good amount of people filled it out, and these are the top topics that came up. Whereas number 1 was baby friendly initiative, and they wanted number 2 was breastfeeding support beyond the hospital. Number 3, breastfeeding basics. Number 4, pregnancy and infant loss. And some additional topics that were brought up were community-free classes, breastfeeding resources for minors, and Medi-Cal doula services. So thank you for all of you that voted, and we are working on getting presenters and having these presentations coming to you very soon. Oh, so just a quick update, the WIC breastfeeding material request. So aside from being the co-chair, I am essentially outreach for healthcare providers and community partners. So what I do is I go out to doctors' offices, and I'm like their middleman between WIC and the community breastfeeding resources. So I developed this poster, which as you can see from the photo on your left, is framed. I hanged it myself with command strips, and its priorities are our providers, so provider offices, patient exam rooms. But if there is an organization like, for example, adolescent family life program, if you guys want to have one of these posters framed and hung at your office where you see clients in person, I am more than happy to do that. Just send me an email. My email is right at the top. I also have these infographics for after pregnancy and infant loss. Many people don't know that WIC provides 6 months of food benefits after the loss of a pregnancy or infant. So stillbirth, abortion, miscarriage, and I think I'm missing one, but definitely if if you fall under, if anybody falls under those devastating circumstances, please reach out to your local WIC and we can help you.
Do you have this poster for us to be able to like print out on the Google Drive that you sent out?
I actually have posters. You can just have the poster by itself.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So I can even provide you the poster without, you know, as many as you need without the frame. It's just the frames are a little pricey. And I wanted to know if Maria Bernabet, if she's on the call. Oh, sorry. Real quick, there's a quick question in the chat. Does the absent parent have to provide medical insurance to the child? Sorry, Jamala? Is that a question for childcare? I mean, child support services?
I think so. I think that's what.
Yes, there was a question when you were speaking of it. I wanted to know if the absent parent was responsible for the medical insurance for the child.
So yes and no. If the other parent requests it, then yes, we'll go ahead and try to pursue for them to provide the medical support for the child. Oftentimes, the parent, the custodial parent has insurance on the child, so we don't have to pursue it. It's just a financial order. But it's all dependent upon, you know, when they start that case opening process, what exactly are they looking for? We don't have to pursue both. It's totally up to them.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
Great question. And it looks like she's not here in the call with us today, but I just wanted to share that she shared this to me through the survey. So anytime you do the survey, you can upload your organization's event flyers or, you know, brochures, and I can post them on the PowerPoint so we can kind of go over them and have a visual. And so then this will be coming out to you in the follow-up email. It's regarding Early Start program at Kern Regional Center. And yeah, so now it's everybody else's turn to speak and I'll take a break. So if anybody wants to come off mute and share any comments, questions, or even go over, make any announcements or share any event that's happening, feel free.
I want to thank TiYonna for today's presentation. It's great to see what happens. I see the POPs form part of it in the mother baby unit, but I don't ever see what happens after that. It's like this piece of paper in some big void. So it's great to have that part filled in for me and see where, you know, what happens next with that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Of course.
I had other things on here.
I have an event, but it's not a baby event.
That's okay.
So I don't know if you guys are aware of like Bakersfield Safe Streets Partnership. They're having an event at Lowell Park on the 28th from 5 to 7. They're trying to reach the kids in that area just to provide a positive environment for them to gain access to resources. So some of the vendors that are out there will be providing direct services. Child Support is one of those agencies. Stay Focused is as part of the hosting committee, and they're providing direct services. Garden Pathways will be there providing direct services. There'll be a car club there. There's free food for them. Taco Fresco is catering. So it's gonna be a really cool event. We're just trying to reach the kids in that area, make sure they have something positive to do outside of school, or make sure if they're not enrolled in school, let's figure out a way to get them educated and get them enrolled in some sort of program to keep them off of the streets and doing something productive. So if you guys are interested, I'll send the flyer to you so that way you can send it out to everybody. And then I do believe we are looking for more vendors, but we are a little tight on space. So if you are interested, you can send me an email and I'll send you the registration link.
Perfect. And is this event in Bakersfield or?
Yeah, it's in Bakersfield.
Gotcha. I believe I had one more slide on here. Yeah, so we can come back to the roundtable, but our next meeting is Wednesday, October 11th. It's gonna be from 1 to 2:30. We haven't decided whether we want to do hybrid or have it just virtual. So I will keep you guys posted, but I'm happy to announce that we're gonna have a special guest presenter, Elaine Fitzpatrick. She's the CEO at Baby Friendly USA, so she'll be going over what is baby friendly, what's the difference between baby friendly initiative and the hospital model policy. So if these are topics that you voted on, make sure to share it out. We're hoping to also record this and share it out on our Instagram, so hopefully we'll have a good turnout. But if there's anybody else that wants to share anything, announcements, events, maybe you want to share how they thought the event at Beale Library went, the community breastfeeding celebration, or if they at their agency celebrated National Breastfeeding Month or any other. I know that child support awareness month was started in September? August, sorry. Was it all August?
Yeah,
Right? Okay.
August, yeah.
Sorry. So yes, so they were happening at the same time. Anybody that wants to share any?
The breastfeeding event was really good. It was really, really fun. It was nice to see, like I saw a parent that won a raffle prize at like the Latina Maternal Festival.
Yeah.
And it was like a baby kid. She was just about to give birth. And then she brought the baby. She was like, look, I gave birth to my baby. And she showed me, and I was like, oh my gosh. So that was really cool to see, like middle to start, I guess, of their life. So it was really cool to see her and to see the babies and to see everybody that came. It was really cute.
Aw, thank you so much for sharing, and you're right, like we